You're such an asshole.
Morning, children. Sleep, 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 sleepy. Sleep, 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 sleep. Cappy is really freaking sleepy. All right. This is from a Marine. All military members, foreign and domestic, retired and active, get a discount. Hey, asshole, I'm sure by now you've heard about 2 swatting incidents involving Major Taylor Greene. I have not. I don't watch the news. I recommend you don't watch the news either. I don't know who she is. These come hot off the heels of the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago. I did hear about that, along with the intelligence agencies effectively designating political opposition to the Democrat Party as domestic extremists. I'm aware of that, though. It seems things are significantly heating up here in the U.S. In light of all this, and given the fact that things do not seem to be de-escalating anytime soon, so what are your predictions for the midterms and 2024? All right, so let me explain why I'm a great economist. I'm one of the world's best. I'm not even joking about that. I admit up front, I don't know the future. Okay. And I've also, it's not that I'm not a good economist. My formula for being one of the world's greatest economists is very simple. I admit I don't know the future. I look at data and statistics. I don't read necessarily articles, just data and statistics. And I remove any political, emotional desire from my analysis. And then finally, I just say, what does the data say? I'll give you a perfect, and this results in being accurate. I'm not necessarily a better economist than anybody else. It's just unlike, say, Paul Krugman, who has to have everything skewed towards socialism. He has an agenda. I would argue he's not an economist. He's a political activist. Before, let me show you the value of being an honest. I guess intellectual honesty is the number one thing. Like, I have the bravery and courage. I actually just want to piss people off because there's so many lies going around. Why do women make less than men? Because they major in dumb crap. There are other reasons. Men work more hours. Men don't take off as much time. Right? And it hurt the fifis of the girlies. Well, did you want to close the wage gap or not? See, in truth, there is true care and compassion and love for your fellow men, or in this case, women. Same thing with the black community. Why are black people poorer than white people? Poorer than everyone else? Well, because they have more kids they can afford and they don't major in the right things. Although, universally, that's why, if you're poor, that's why you're poor. And it's like, oh, wait, you mean we're not... The laws of the universe and economics apply to us all, regardless of our skin color? Yeah. So it's not just advice for black people to get out of poverty. It's for all poor people. Hey, lady. Because it's usually going to be a lady who's going to and clutch her pearls and call me a Eastern-ism. Am I the racist? Because I'm actually accurately diagnosing the problem so now we can fix it and help out our fellow black brothers and sisters. Or are you actually the racist because you want to care about the fifis and not what's in the best interest of the black community? See? So it's not really a brave position when you think about it. It's just like, and I'm also just too damn tired to like play the political game, like spare people's feelings. You're fat and you're going to die and be a lonely spinster because you're fat. I don't have the time. I just don't care. And the point I'm trying to get to all this is after trying to tell people the truth on some key economic issues, not women's obesity or anything like that, but the dot-com bubble, education bubble, and housing crisis. No one hear it. I gave up. You know why? Because Americans don't want success. I mean, humans don't want success. They don't want progress. They want lies. They want to feel good. They want drugs. That's what they want. They want drugs, both literal and figuratively. They want to feel good. And if that's through a direct chemical reaction by introducing chemicals into their body or being lied to, they will take that above any tangible increase in their actual real world lives. This is why women are never going to close the wage gap unless we fabricate or to massage the numbers to make it, but they're never going to close it because they don't want to put the work into it. Go look at what they major in still to this day. Huge STEM gap, huge. They just want to feel good. This is why the Democrat Party is very successful. They got in on that. This is why marketing is very successful. And so I've left because no one cares about empirical economics. They want economics to back, what's the word I'm looking for? Back authenticate the political position. In other words, the goal of economics today is not to be Exodor from Robotech. There's an obscure observation or reference. Go on in the real world, pull up this data, say, hey, here's the real world. You better affect government policy based in this real world. The politicians come in first, say, we want this outcome. Go cook up the economic data to rationalize it. And then the snake of Paul Krugman and Robert Reich and those types go and find the data, cherry pick the data, and rationalize communism. And then, I don't know why we're poor. I don't know why housing's so expensive. Oh, it's the evil Republicans in the Senate. So this is the long going about way that you still seem to care, and you still seem to think that you have some kind of obligation, and you still think that there's some use or value in me or anyone else predicting what's going to happen. It doesn't matter. What's going to happen is the American people are going to continue to get fatter, lazier, and work less because they don't want to work. The Democrats are going to have to come up with more fantastic and spectacular lies. And the Republicans are in kind of a compromised position of if they want to get reelected, they have to be popular. So they, basically the short version is the Democrats are selling chocolate ice cream and Republicans are selling broccoli. And the country is going to die of morbid obesity and diabetes and all this other stuff if we don't start eating our broccoli. But they don't want to they're not going to heed that lesson. And so here you are saying like, oh my God, what do you think's going to happen? I think they're going to tell people that they're going to give them more chocolate ice cream and that the Republicans in the Senate are evil, racist white men for telling people to eat their broccoli. That's what I think, because it's been happening since I've been alive. And anytime I go in and try and introduce any semblance of empiricism or reality to the political conversation being had, they already have, like a true drug addict, they already have an excuse of rationalization as to why I'm not only wrong, but I'm an evil, racist, white male Republican. I mean, it really is that childish and mentally ill of a situation we're in. So I don't participate in political analysis. I don't read the politics because here's the thing. Here's all of politics in the United States. It's been going on for about 30 years. The Democrats, we want more of other people's money, and the Republicans are like, no. And Democrats are, too bad, we got the votes and people want your money. We're taking it now. That's it. That's all it is. Predictions for midterms. I think the Republicans will take both houses. Not by filibuster-proof majorities. And it's not, that doesn't mean anything. If you didn't notice, Justice Roberts allowed us to have Obamacare. That doesn't, Herman Cain. Who's the traitor Vietnam vet with brain cancer that died? John McCain. Sorry, what was I thinking? Cain. John McCain. The Republicans always cuck out at the last moment. Right? So nothing's going to happen. It will slowly slow down the movement up to the left in this country. But we're not gonna have a Republican president next time. Do you think it'd be a repeat of the street battles between Antifa and anti-communists? No, there usually has to be something to trigger that, like George Floyd getting killed. That street battles would have to, like when Roe versus Wade got repealed, that caused something. There's always kindling and gunpowder and fuel for a fire. You need a spark for it. So a midterm election where the Republicans take both houses, I don't think is going to be enough. Do you think there is a serious danger of earnest political persecution against Republicans and libertarians? Yes. Not so much today. And it depends. and not even necessarily government, although what was his name? Mark Zuckerberg said on Joe Rogan that the FBI came and says, you can't publish that on Facebook. I forgot what it was about. So they're already limiting political speech. The government quite brilliantly through indoctrination in the schools going back 20, 30 years ago has made it that now your fellow person, kind of like the East German people would report on their neighbors. They've successfully programmed a high enough population, American population, to think that their leftist politics are the most important thing in life, and that they're fighting fascism or not communism, not whatever, some kind of ism that's on the right side of the political spectrum, if they get people fired and doxxed or whatever. So and then the government say, well, that's just political discourse between people. So they very, very brilliantly did that. It's not like Joe Biden's telling you not to say something. It's like, well, if you say something, your employer is going to get rid of you. So that is kind of already here, and that'll get worse as time goes on. Do you think the policies of the current administration will cause a general collapse? Not only do I think the policies of the current generation will cause a collapse, the policies of the previous administration did as well. A lot of people, go look up the data, guys. Trump printed, you all bow down and worship at Trump. It's like he's the one that printed off the most money, nominally speaking. Obama, as a percentage, certainly increased it. Trump came in and nominally increased it even more on top of that. Biden a little bit. Yeah. Since Obama, and I'd even say starting towards the tail end of Bush, where he did that $300 stimulus check, the one-time $300 stimulus check, the $600 a week, that was under Trump, by the way, just to remind you guys again of that. Yeah, it's not. It truly, in this case, isn't Democrat or Republican. It's just you guys keep here's more of a determining factor. Remove the R and the D. Okay, stop electing trust fund boomers. How about that? Can we stop electing boomers? President Cappy, Gen X Cappy. Oh, Gen X president. Woo! Look out! Hey, new game. We're cutting the Gordian knot in ways you never thought possible. What do you mean you put a bunch of minefields along the border? Well, it's here. And another thing to help you understand your political analysis, you do know it's not the politicians, right? The politicians are just a manifestation of the idiot people that elect them in. You know, all these people, oh, we got to get rid of Nancy Pelosi. Well, who's going to replace just some other rich cocksucking bitch from Marin County who slept her way up to the top? You know, someone else will. It's not, these people are all going to pass away, and then the new person's going to come in, and they'll be just the same, if not worse. And it's the people. You have low quality, lazy, worthless, useless people. That's the problem. You can, oh my God, this person said crazy thing X. Yeah, that person would, because, look at Ocasio-Cortez. People hate on Ocasio-Cortez. What? There isn't a bunch of completely overeducated morons who came from rather well-to-do and think that they know the solution and it's more of other people's money? No, it's the idiots. It's the genuine parasites in her jurisdiction. It's the parasites of whatever congressional district she's in. Those people elected an adult child parasite because that's them. More of other people's money? Okay, it's not my fault I'm a single mom of 5 different baby daddies and a whore. Yeah, again, who is it? It's the white male Republicans in the Senate, all right? That level of stupidity, it doesn't matter what group that stupid people, or what person that group of stupid people elect. The problem is the stupid people. The problem are the morons who live in Marin County, San Francisco area. It's not Gavin Newsom. It's the people crapping in the adult Democrats crapping in the street. That's who it is. So it is Yeah, the policies of the current administration will cause a general collapse. It is the people who elect the politician who create these policies that will cause a general collapse. And the student loan bailout is just the latest version of this. I think that's going to have more of a demoralizing effect on your productive class, and then you're just going to have a supply-induced or shortage-induced inflation. I personally see a return to the Wild West with modern technology in regards to that last question. That's just me. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how Rome collapses this time. I mean, we got books, we got math, we got computers. So the dark ages are not going to be all that dark. I think a very interesting what's the word? Episode. A very interesting episode in history that I think the collapse of the West will be more akin to would be the collapse of the Soviet Empire. Soviet Empire took 70 years, which is kind of short to have its run of communism. So an entire generation was wasted. And then it collapsed. And then in 20 years' time, the Soviet Empire is back in varying levels. Admittedly, there's a lot of corruption, but Russia's actually doing quite well if you look at its economic fundamentals. So are some of the former Soviet republics. Depends on, Belarus is kind of dumb. The Baltics are doing rather well. And so the knowledge is not lost forever. We have books, we have technology. And so I don't think it will be that long of a collapse. Now, keep in mind, the collapse also includes going from one system to a socialist system, and how long does it take? So it's going to be 70 years socialism. I mean, unless it go like CCP, but the CCP China even had to move inevitably into free market reforms under Deng Xiaoping, if any of you want to actually study history. It's cute how the communists in the West, see, China, they're economically booming. They're communists. Like, look at their economy, you freaking moron. I don't think. But anyway, the point is, it's going to take us 70 years. We'll go through a socialist thing. There will be starvation. That might bring about a collapse, but you'll have a tyrannical government keep in mind, there are nuclear weapons. There is a large army, large military in the U.S. And then a generation, just like in the Soviet days, they thought they knew better than the Tsar. They listened to the guy who was also a preppy rich kid from the suburbs, Vladimir Lenin. Look him up. And they followed it, and then they all died, and then there was starvation, and then there was this guy called Stalin who killed even more people. And then he started realizing, hey, we can't leave the country, and why is the U.S. better off than us? And we're going to watch Dallas. Why are they so wealthy? And then that generation will die off, and then new people come in. You'll have your Gorbachev and your Boris Yeltsin, and then you'll have a Vladimir Putin, hopefully at the end of it, kind of manages that transition. And then there'll be a new day, but we'll all be dead by then because it's going to be a 72, so it's like 100-year process. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be a Wild West. I don't know how it will pan out. I don't think there'll be a total collapse of law. The Democrats are going to insist on it. There'll be a Orwellian dictatorship, I'd forecast, where they're going to focus on the weirdest. Like, they're not even going to be concerned that much about the money. They're more obsessed about cultural Marxism, like fat acceptance, turning women into men into women, whatever the weird stuff they got going on. I mean, this is not to say there aren't LGBTQ. That's not what I'm saying, but the obsession, the programming that they're brainwashing kids, like, oh yeah, you might not be straight now, 20%, that kind of stuff. Oh, you all have mental disorders. You said wrong thing, that kind of thing. It'll be that. Please keep me anonymous. I would like a video response. There's no real need for you to bother with any real research. Well, what would I research? My research would come to the same thing. That group of people wants that group of people's money, and they're going to call them names and say they're oppressed because they've been more or less the general strategy is to hide behind the traits they were born with, claim they're oppressed because of those traits. And, and they're going to get more money because of bailouts or because women are oppressed or whatever else. Please keep me anonymous. On the side, do you still do military discounts? If so, I'm a U.S. Marine. Yeah, hell yeah, of course. Almost want to give Marines a little bit of extra special discount because you actually have a real job. I'm just kidding to the other branches of the government except for the Air Force. All right. There's your political analysis, huh? Was I good enough how would I do on the talking head job? Should I have come in with the big chiming bells? Bong. Fox News alert. Dong. Era 404, 500 yen. That's about $5. Hey, Cap, caught you live finally. Australian living in Tokyo. Say hi to Modern Life John for us. Just bought Sanity, The Decline, Curse of the High IQ after reading the Book of Numbers. Yeah, boy, those books you listed. I linked down below. Enjoy The Decline. For those of you who are sad about this, please enjoy The Decline. If this is really bothering you, the way the country is going, go get Enjoy the Decline, accepting living with the death of the United States. And also, Sanity is the future of wealth. Because I know you're worried about money. Money is one thing. Let me ask you this. Who do you think is going to live a better life under a Soviet American empire? Thin, good-looking people having sex, or fat, pissed-off feminist soy boy type of guys and gals who claim to be a gender they're not to garner attention and to give them value in life, who mutilate their bodies with piercings and tattoos and dye their hair blue? Doesn't matter which economic system you're under. If you really want to get back at the left, be good-looking and have sex with good-looking people. Aaron, wouldn't that require women also be good looking? Yeah, there's some holes in my theory. There's some shortcomings of my strategy, but I'm just saying that has nothing to do with going to school or going to work. Just be good looking and have sex with good looking people, and you're going to piss off a lot of leftists. I'm aware of the shortcomings I'm aware of the big gaping flaw. I'm aware, but there you go. That type of advice is in those books. Donna Hannaford, $5 Australian for the Gravel Fund. Thank you. The Gravel Fund appreciates you. I love Pop, and he's only $50 a year. Get a membership join button. Come on, that's another thing I got to do. And I kind of draw the line at that. I'm still to this day flummoxed. I don't fully understand the human psychology of the super chats. I'm more than thankful that you guys keep donating. But at least in my mind now, like, hey, you pay me, I'll read your comment. There's an exchange that makes sense to me. The membership, who's calling me? Oh my God, all these girls want me. The membership, I kind of have a membership. You could subscribe at Subscribestar. I don't promote it. Why? Because I'm not on my game all the time providing new member-only content. I do the road trip podcast where I recording in my phone while I'm driving, but I've been so busy this past year, I haven't been really able to provide a lot there. So if you want to donate you want to be on a subscription and donate more money to me, okay. But and you get access to the archive. I think there's like 20 podcasts. I go ahead and go to my Subscribestar, and there you go. And then I guess you get access to pinups of Mary Jo, so we got that too. There you go. But I don't want to do a number. And you know what? It's another username and password. It's another thing. I don't want to add another thing. I already have enough trouble trying to keep up with the things I got. I don't want a username and a password. Don't want to do it. Luke, 10 Australian. Man, we're getting the Australians here. $10 Australian. Do you have a reading list? What are your thoughts on the Austrian School of Economics? Thoughts on Thomas Piketty? I never read Thomas Piketty. I did go to the Austrian school for like a summer seminar thing. Here's a short version of Austrian economics. They're just the ones that are right. When they confuse the average person, here's what economists do. They make it sound like we're really intelligent and there's a lot to economics. That's why we have the Keynesian school of economic philosophy. We have the Austrian school, and everyone does deep no, we're talking 105, 110 IQ. I'll make it really simple. Austrian economics is very simply, if you increase the money supply, whether that's actually printing off more dollars or through fractional reserve banking and lower interest rates and lower reserve requirement ratios, the effective money supply, because we can always borrow on money and credit, that drives prices up. Those prices going up then results in a misallocation of capital, a misallocation of people's money. So that then, and it can even get more people to come in as speculators, like the dot-com bubble and the education bubble and the housing bubble. That misallocation of resources and mispricing warps the pricing signal and invests money in things that will not have a high rate of return. And that results in less economic growth, which is called a recession, and poorer economic times. It's basically saying effing with the money supply and monetary policy skews our ability to tell what's going on, and we invest in the wrong things. And then we lose economic growth. That's it. That's all it is. And it's true. It's 100% true. It's not an opinion. Well, that's the Austrian theory. No, it's not a theory. It's not a theory. Keynesian books are this thick because they have to be to back rationalize how that works. Well, you see, there's the multiplier effect. Well, you just took the money from those people and then you gave it to poor people. Yeah, but the poor people got to spend that money, but the rich people would have spent the money as well. You just lessened purchasing ability over here and created over here. All you did really was change what the money might be spent on. Oh, but the rich people don't spend their money. Well, that's wrong. They would spend their money, but then it's in the banking system, right? And that money would be lent out, or they'd invest it somewhere, creating jobs and spending it on investment assets and like, and yet I've yet to see a Keynesian, doctorate or not, explain that one away to me. So how could I put economics? Once you do away with the different schools of economic thought, oh my God, even communist, value of labor theory. Once you do away with it and approach it with very simple third grade logic, not even math, third grade eyes, just logic. Well, wait, didn't you take the money from over there and over there? Yeah. Well, okay, that's nice. Money's in the economy, but let's remove money aside. Shouldn't we all be working? Wouldn't that increase economic? Money really doesn't have any value. It's the stuff it buys, right? So it's the wealth of nations. Adam Smith could have just stopped with the cover of that book. He didn't need to write 600 pages of doth forth go whence 2 pence does shilling make. He could just said the wealth of the nation isn't the amount of money we have, it's what we produce. That's it. That's all you had to do. And then you can, I'm not joking. You can largely dismiss any other economists out there, professional or not, PhD or not, doctor, professors or not, talking heads or not. It's really simple, basic stuff. And the only real value of being an economist, like if you want to actually be an economist, it would be to take in data, where it'd be more of a data scientist, and look for errors. And they're always creating errors. Government and economists and academics are always creating mistakes in the economy, misallocating capital. Hey, I got an idea. Let's take the money from hardworking people and give it to the piss poor people who make bad decisions in life. Gee, I wonder why the economy's slowing down. All you have to do as an economist is go pull data now, thankfully, because of the internet, we got all this economic data, and say, well, these numbers aren't, or the numbers are showing what they're showing, which means there's a really bad problem right now. And then you're like, that's going to happen if we don't solve this problem. Ooh, you're an Eastern-ism for pointing that out. Okay, does it change the fact that housing is going to go up and rent is going to skyrocket? So I don't know who Thomas Piketty is. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.